Actually,
that God in the Bible doesn't allow.
So we have all these prophets of God who you claim they are prophets of God. They have married under the permission. Yeah, what's
number 31?
Which is number 30? Yeah, here. What's here? Now here we have here. Now kill all boys and kill every woman. Who's here. Now listen to this. Yeah, you can read it because
I'll read it because it's
yes.
Okay. So this is what the lovely Yahweh says in his Bible. Yes, who is like he says.
No.
Same topic.
That's what he did. That's what he did. That's what he did.
Yes,
sexual immorality.
Okay. So the lovely Yahweh in the Bible, who according to him is his role model, says this: now kill all the boys, yes, and kill every woman who has slept with a man, yes, but save for yourselves every girl, remember, from woman to girl, every girl who has never slept, that means all your virgin girls who have not slept with a man, save them for yourselves. So this is basically sexual immorality, because later on the same story goes that they saved how many virgin girls? 31,000. 31. I wonder what machine Yahweh gave them to detect virginity. Was there any detective? You know how they would actually have done it? By the age. So maybe 5 years old, maybe less than that. And they took them for themselves, which means for sexual pleasure. So these were sex slaves in this Old Testament. So, well, why would they take little girls and kill the little boys? Why would they kill little boys? Okay, so one more point with regard to the immorality. And then it says over there, also, with regards to the number of wives.
Yeah.
Were they always one, according to the Old Testament?
Yeah.
It was not. So they were allowed to take more than one wife. In fact, God would say to people, like in the book of Samuel, that God will give you even more. And God will give the wives of yours to your enemies. So how can someone be cursed by giving his wives to someone else who are his enemies? That is also Yahweh's treatment there. And by the way, the most important thing is this topic was about divorce. What happened?
Now
exactly my question. What happened?
What happened to you? No, that's I just asked him to read. That's all. I asked him to read because I wanted him to read.
Make you understand.
Now the question is, because you diverted the conversation from divorce to all of these things that you brought, and that's why we had to bring. And related to morality, we have Yahweh commands people to kill babies. We have Yahweh command people. We have Yahweh. I wish he command this guy to shut up. Yeah, he has done all of that, and he allowed as well them to give their wives to their enemies. Do you understand? Do you understand the concept? So if you want to play this game, I have no problem for every time to bring another thing. So if you want to stick to the divorce, we'll stick to the divorce and keep on that point. Yeah? Yes. So going back to the divorce, as I said to you earlier on, yeah? And there is something in Islam called usul, which means the fundamental principle to understand the commandments of Allah. Now when Allah Azza wa Jal is saying something, prohibiting something, then giving a way out, it doesn't mean it's allowed. It means it is prohibited until there is a way out. What's the meaning of the way out? Here when Allah has said, you cannot go back to your husband. Okay, again, if you start listening, you're misrepresenting Christian. No. Can you just respect the conversation? Otherwise, if there is no respect for conversation,
by all means I respect your conversation.
No, you didn't. Did I, for example, did I ever laugh at your statement about?
You called me a liar in the middle of my conversation.
Yes, because you lied. You lied. Because you lied.
Is that respecting
because you lied. You lied about me.
And therefore,
thank you. Thank you to remind me that you lied about me. Yeah.
Stick to your point.
Thank you for reminding me.
Thank you very much.
By the way,
no problem.
Now is your turn to tell him why you lied.
Now, what he said, he lied before. He said, I said, this is what he said. He said, I said that Yahweh is not polar opposite to Allah. Here what I'm saying, I said we never claimed Allah is equal to Yahweh. We never claimed this. We said Allah has 99 names from the Muslim what we understood. These were the names of Allah. So we call Allah with these names that He named Himself with, or what the Prophet ﷺ has named His Lord with. Amongst us, we don't name Him Yahweh. Now, are you talking about the creation of the heavens and earth? If that's the same one, we're talking about the creator of the heavens and earth. This creator, the one God, the one who created the heavens and earth, the one who sent the messengers, we're talking about that one. Yeah, which we call them here in English God, you could say, and we as the title for him in Arabic is Allah, even used by Christian, Arabs, used by Jews Arabs. They use the same term Allah. What's the meaning of Allah? Allah in Arabic term means the one God. For you to know, it means the one God. That's what it means. Now, here that's to clarify to you. So that's why if Yahweh command the people to kill the children, that's not our Allah. Of course, this is injection. To command people to kill babies and children and all of these things, no, we don't believe this. We don't believe Allah will ever command such a statement. We don't believe Allah will ever command a person, for example, to kill an innocent baby. What the baby did? What the baby did.
Are you
So
done?
here, I'm done with this. Now it's your turn.
Good, thank you. So, okay, forgetting what was claimed earlier, at least based on what you've claimed now, let's
Just please stop interrupting.
Based on what you've just said now, let's look at this carefully again. So you are saying Allah of the Quran, Islamic Allah of the Quran, does not have a name called Yahweh. You are agreeing with that? Does not have a name called Yahweh.
Exactly.
To that, I'm adding one more point, which is Islamic Allah of the Quran has a contrary view to sexual promiscuity from the Yahweh of the Bible. You are saying they don't share the same name. I am saying they don't even seem to share the same nature. Contrary viewpoints, directly opposite, and therefore it's an obvious conclusion that they are both not the same. And that is where my suggestion to you is, once you have understood the point I am making, to go and tell all your Islamic Dawah friends, never ever to go around saying Muhammad worship Yahweh of the Bible.
No,
I didn't say you said that.
Who said it?
If you can go around and say Muhammad has no connection with Abraham, Moses.
No, that's not
No,
true.
we don't say
We
that.
didn't say that either. Strawman arguments as usual.
Excuse me. If you
I don't
carefully
stick to
know,
the topic,
I'm
please.
not saying you
It's the second
say
chance
this,
you're
you say
losing.
that. I'm just saying, based on the point you said, the names are not the same. You agreed?
Yeah.
And I'm saying the nature is not the same, and it's not just not the same, they are polar opposites. Based on these two, it's obvious they're not the same person.
We never said they were.
Yahweh is not
never
the same.
claimed they are.
Therefore, that's good. As long as Muslims across the world understand, Yahweh of the Bible is not the same as the Islamic Allah of the
I think he
Quran.
forgot that we think it's
I think he's convinced himself now.
Now, can I go back to a reasoning which you actually get? In your previous round, by the way, in your previous round, if you watch the video carefully later, maybe from your Islamic source, you gave a reason as to why your Islam or Muslims today are a bit different from Yahweh.
Did he say he was going to respond to the marriage about the divorce in his next turn? Now he's contradicting himself
Excuse me, sir.
because he said he was going to respond to the divorce
Excuse me,
thing.
sir.
He's not doing that in the second.
I am taught this is
Chance
all
either.
related to divorce, the same passage, the same verse.
And then he says, "We call him a liar."
Yahweh of the Bible knows what he is talking about, and he goes on to
Yeah.
say, by the
Kill
road,
all the little boys
excuse me,
except
my
the
dear
little
friend.
girls who are
By
virgin.
the road,
You're right.
by the
Very polar opposite to Allah.
excuse me, Hashim, don't get desperate.
I'm not
By
desperate.
the
You're the
road,
one who are
you have sat for
repeating
them.
yourself.
By the road, you have sat for
You
them.
believe that
Same point.
Like an Arabian in the wilderness. I made that point, and I'm sure
Ask
you
if the car is over
heard.
there.
I'm sure you heard the point. Like the Arabian in the wilderness for sexual promiscuity, prime example.
Repeat.
And your point then, you gave a reason. You said you're now better, and the reason you gave was that they were far worse. They were so terrible. In other words, what you are saying is you are slightly less worse, but still worse than
We never said
the Tanakh. God
I
of the
didn't say
Bible
this.
says like this.
I didn't say this.
Or imply.
You
I
can
didn't
check it
say
out.
this.
You can check it out in your response.
Did I say, hold on a second. Now, listen, don't lie about me, yeah?
Say, leaving
Listen,
that behind.
Don't lie about me.
Leaving that
listen,
behind.
Are you
Listen,
the answer that
does,
he
Leave him
does
behind,
Jesus,
he's behind
listen,
now, you know.
does the Bible, seriously, does the Bible allow
Are you
you to lie?
interrupting now?
Does
In
the
my
Bible,
turn.
does the Bible allow you
Are
to
you
lie?
interrupting now?
No,
In my
listen,
turn.
listen, don't lie. When I lie about you, interrupt me. If I lie
are
about
not
you,
the judge here.
No,
What's
I
your
am.
name?
Don't lie about me.
What's your name?
Please do not lie about
your
me.
name?
Do not lie. My name is Muhammad. Sheikh
Muhammad. I am Arul, yeah. By the way, You are
Yeah.
arguing from one side, I am arguing for another side.
So don't lie about each other. We shouldn't lie with each
Neither
other.
of us is a judge here.
No,
I
you
am
shouldn't
making
lie.
a point.
I will not lie about you. Don't lie about me, please.
I don't
You
also.
can't.
So I don't. Let's not cry foul. Let's not be childish in this regard.
No,
points here.
without being childish.
Can I-
Listen,
Yes, please
listen.
stick
In
to the
Islam,
topic.
in Islam, or
Mohammed.
Christianity,
Can I
or
please-
Judaism,
this
or
is my
any,
turn, Mohammed.
lying is not allowed. Yeah.
Mohammed,
So
this
what
is
I'm
my
saying,
turn.
what I'm saying to you, can you
As a
stick?
matter of fact, my second point, my second major area, I'm not sure if we have time for that today. Maybe if you're here next week, we'll do this. Next week, God strengthening, God willing, no, not the next week, the week after that, God willing, I'd like to do a similar debate on lying, on taqiyya. Similar debate. I am going to say Yahweh of the Bible is the polar opposite of Islamic Allah of the
Okay.
Quran.
Yeah,
leave
And
this-
then you
leave
will
this
see.
now.
Now, for now, Muhammad, just one more thing. For now, my point is sexual promiscuity of any degree is anti-God. All the women should know it, and all sensible men should know it. One wife is the only formal thing God Yahweh gave to his people. Anything beyond that, like in the case of Solomon, like in the case of Jacob and so on, were never approved formally, given as a matter of law. Well, let me finish. Given as a matter of law by Yahweh of the Bible. Nowhere would
Neither
you find...
Abraham, neither Abraham,
One second.
neither Abraham.
1 second. Yahweh of the Bible,
Neither Abraham.
my dear friends, Yahweh of the Bible, nowhere would you find giving a rule or law to say, by the way, you can have multiple wives and be happy with it. Nowhere would you find that. Except in Sharia, in Islamic view, you have it. And that is another point I'd really like to make.
Even Judaism.
My point is this.
According to halakha.
Certainly, Yahweh of the Tanakh is polar opposite to Islamic Allah of the Quran, polar opposites, and I'd certainly recommend to you to come to Yahweh Jesus Christ. And that is the one who could give you life. Otherwise,
Okay.
women would be abused, there would be sexual promiscuity, and Yahweh would use that example again in the times to come on Judgment Day.
The same
I
one,
recommend-
the same one who command to kill children and babies.
I am willing. That's a
He's
good
the same
point.
one.
I am willing.
The same one.
Mohammed,
Is he the same one?
Mohammed,
Are you
I'm
talking?
willing.
Are you saying to me here? Are you saying to the audience?
I'm answering.
Yeah,
I'm
okay,
answering. Muhammad, just like how we have had a detailed discussion about this particular aspect of Sharia versus Torah, I'm willing to have a very detailed discussion about all other challenging passages of the Bible, by
Okay.
all means,
Good.
in the future. The second one is taqiyya,
Okay.
lying, and subsequently everything else you want to take up as a challenge.
Okay.
I am willing to deal with that. I'm not running away from it.
That's fine.
I have committed my life to serve my God because He is worthy. And therefore, I can all my life give you all defenses that you need for you to safely come to Jesus Christ.
Which one?
The one who
Which one?
died came back alive again. Jesus Christ. He is the one who is
Alright.
able to save you, Muhammad.
Okay.
You need to come to Him.
All right.
But good to see you today.
Let me just conclude. Since you finished, let me conclude now here. Since you are here. Now you said come back. You said polar opposite is the same thing. Is the same thing with in related. For example, in the Old Testament, between the Old Testament, because that's a conclusion. There's no response. Yeah. So in the Old Testament and the New Testament, God of the New Testament and the Old Testament is polar opposite. It's the same concept. You have the same manner. This is what it is. In the Old Testament, it's talking about the monotheism, the oneness of God. That God is one. That's simple as that. The creator of the heavens and earth. All of these ones, and as well the definition of God that He is Almighty, that He is as well all-knowing, that He is all of these ones. And in the same time, the New Testament saying totally opposite to that. That God become weak. Instead of become almighty, He is the Almighty, the Creator. He cannot even... Listen. It's my turn. It's my turn. It's my turn. It's my turn. It's my turn.
In
It is my turn.
you
It
don't
is my
introduce
turn.
new points.
It is my turn. It's my turn.
conclusion,
It is my turn. It is my turn. I didn't lie about you like you said. It's my turn. Now here, so here in the Old Testament it's talking about something, and the New Testament is something else. In the Old Testament, allowing the divorce in the New Testament. There is no way for the divorce. I didn't finish my point. You know, I could bring. Listen, I have many. Listen, no, I'm talking about the Testament.
You said you only stick to the topic.
No, he didn't stick to the topic. He didn't stick to the topic.
Let's be
He did not
sensitive.
stick to the topic.
Muhammad, let's be sensitive.
So here,
In a conclusion,
in a conclusion,
you only wrap up.
now going back to the point. No, I'm saying you're saying about the polar opposite. So it is polar opposite actually between the Old Testament and the New Testament. In the Old Testament as well, allowing the divorce, and as well allowing in the New Testament, you cannot divorce except if they commit adultery. Now here, and that's another polar opposite. So we have all of these contradictions, and as well you said you were serving the God. And when I ask any Christian person, and this is something which I just want to finish with this.
We can follow up later, but you're raising
anyway,
new points.
yeah, of course.
But later on,
anyway.
I'd like to speak to you. My dear friend, I think you need to come to Jesus Christ. He is the